Hey guys. So I didn't get any special requests for anything weird besides Aaliyah saying to see Stevie, but I locked Stevie out of the room because she's annoying. So today, because you didn't request anything, I'm gonna share with you one of my favorite quarantine little snacks, okay? So what you need for this is cheese, mozzarella cheese I showed you guys last week, a tomato, cherry tomato preferably, and basil leaf. Alright, so I put this together in like a weird little type of a sandwich, and I use balsamic dressing, and you put it on there. And that's it, you eat it. So yeah, it's my favorite snack. It's got veggies, it's got cheese. I probably shouldn't have eaten it right now, but it's really great, and I could just eat straight mozzarella or straight tomato anytime. So I hope you like that recipe. Cooking with Mitch. Alright, let's run through these comments. Alex said, you know that there's already cereal made from cookies. We did not end up doing the TikTok challenge where you make cereal, cookies into cereal. Cookie Crisp is a cereal that already exists, so I got you. But we didn't do it. We just made regular cookies and I ate them. Justin asked me to buy a Yankee hat and then cut the brim. I would never buy a Yankee hat because I don't like the Yankees. My wife does though, and I think she'd be upset if I cut Yankee stuff in the house. Aaliyah said to see Stevie. Maybe at the end of the video I can run and grab her, but she's just a little loud when she's in here. Scratches on things. Leslie called me fancy for what was in my fridge. There was like nothing in the fridge that was good. Nothing to make real food out of. And then Alex was talking about oil being, plastic is made of oil and dinosaurs make oil, so the plastic is dinosaurs. I've never heard that, but maybe Miss Black can fact check. And then Wilson just wrote for an entire page. Thank you, Wilson. So thanks for those comments, my 6 friends that I'm shouting out. Thanks for the 50 views. That means about, 25 of us didn't watch our notes this week or finish it up. Maybe it's because I'm playing around too much in the beginning, so I'm gonna get right to it. Today you guys are opening day 11. We are clicking to slide 2 right away, and we're seeing that we have some new vocab words. To be honest, guys, the vocab quizzes are a bit of a mess. I don't understand. Maybe we're not studying like I keep saying in these videos, but I'm asking for 5 words. If you fail the vocab quiz, I'm just gonna ask that you, if you want to retake it. That's been really hard to do because of people's different schedules during the day. So if you don't like how you did on a certain vocab quiz, send me a message on Remind using those words each in a sentence. Okay, so if you failed last week's vocab quiz, send me 5 sentences using those words. Okay, make them your own sentences. Don't just Google things, because you know that I can figure that out. The SparkNotes quizzes have been going well though. I don't think really anyone needs to retake those. You will be having another SparkNotes quiz really soon. Let me see. So you took one for chapter 3 and 4, right? So we should take one for 5 and 6. Yes, so you will have a chapter quiz in 2 days. So practice on SparkNotes, check it out. I'll put the link in the stream for you to practice the quiz. All right, our words today that we're actually going to study and we're actually going to go on vocabulary.com. We have apprehensive, defiance, gingerly, sheepish, and premonition. Okay, so you're gonna use that link at the bottom, or you can go through our stream, and your screen should look like this. I know there's probably a better way for me to do this. Okay. So you should actually be clicking that and studying and playing that game. Okay? I promise it helps. Alright, let's get to the questions now. So if you wanted to, you could pause to study. If not, you're gonna move right on to our do now. Your do now today says, sorry, you guys get Fitz in the screen there taking a nap. Hey Fitz, you want some cheese? Want some mozzarella? He likes all food. Oh my gosh, can't even catch. Today our journal is, have you ever had a bad feeling about something? Maybe also, maybe not just a bad feeling, but I wrote, have you ever felt like you have already experienced something? This is normally called deja vu. Just this feeling that people get sometimes where you feel like, well, I already have done this. I've been here. I've said this. So 2 options of what you could write about. So either having a really bad feeling or just having that experience of like deja vu. Like, I feel like I was here already. Okay, so you could pause the video to write your 10 lines right now. A lot of you have been writing 16, 17, 18 lines, and I've been really trying to give you some extra points for that. So great job there. And this is me just watching you type. Type in 10 lines. Are you typing 10 lines? No. Okay. Slide 4, our last slide of the day. Are we ready for this? As we read, I tried to put the page numbers at the top because a lot of you text me and ask questions during the day, and you're like, Miss Midge, what page are we on? It's right on the top of the slide. Okay, so we're reading 73 to 77 today, and we're going to try to write down how does Dallas view Cherry and how does Pony view her, and then what motivates Johnny to make his decision. I wonder what decision that is. All right, so like I said, you're going to 73. So I'm going to click back to the stream and open my text. And now I'm on it. Chapter 6. All right, if you forget where we left off, they were at the Dairy Queen with Dallas. They were eating all this food, and Dallas had told them that there's going to be this big fight between the Socs and the Greasers, and they have a secret weapon. They have Cherry on their team. All right, some water. All right. Johnny gagged, and I almost dropped my hot fudge sundae. Cherry, we both said at the same time. The Socs? Yeah, Dally said. She came over to the vacant lot the night that 2-Bit was jumped. Shepard and some of his outfit and us were hanging around, and she drives up with her little old Stingray. That took a lot of nerve. Some of us were for jumping her right then and there, her being the dead kid's girl and all, but 2-Bit stopped us. Man, next time I want a broad, I'll pick up my own kind. Yeah, Johnny said slowly, and I wonder if, like me, he was remembering another voice. Also tough, and just deepened into manhood, saying, next time you want a broad, pick up your own kind. It gave me the creeps. Dally was going on. She said she felt that the whole mess was her fault, which it is, and that she'd keep up with what was coming off with the Socs and the Rumble, and would testify that the Socs were drunk and looking for a fight, and that you fought back in self-defense. He gave a grim laugh. That little gal sure does hate me. I offered... Can you stop breathing so loud? You hear this dog? I lost my spot. He gave a grim laugh. That little gal sure does hate me. I offered to take her over to the Dingo for a Coke, and she said no thank you, and told me where I could go in very polite terms. She was afraid of loving you, I thought. So Cherry Valance, the cheerleader, Bob's girl, the Soch, was trying to help us. No, it wasn't Cherry the Soch who was helping us. It was Cherry the dreamer who watched sunsets and couldn't stand fights. It was hard to believe that a Soch would help us, even a Soch that dug sunsets. Dally didn't notice. He had forgotten about it already. Man, this place is out of it. What do you do for kicks around here? Play checkers? Dally surveyed the scene without any interest. I ain't never been in the country before. Have you two? Alright, our text evidence for number 1 is gonna come from 73. So the way that Dallas is feeling about Cherry in this scene, he is kind of angry that she shows up. He said he wanted to jump her to have the boys like beat her up, and he also tries to I guess hit on her too. There's a piece of evidence that says I offered to take her over to the Dingo for a Coke, and she said no, but not in an appropriate way, right? So the two things that Dallas is feeling is he was offended that when she showed up and he wanted to kind of fight with her, and he also is trying to like ask her out and she's rejecting him, right? So all in all, Dallas is not a fan of Cherry in this scene. All right, and then Pony's view of Cherry is that she, I would use the line on 73 where it said, Cherry the Soch who was helping us, it was Cherry the dreamer who watched sunsets and couldn't stand fights. So, you know, Pony sees her as a good person and someone who's like, you know, has a big heart, and she does want everyone to be safe and protected, and she doesn't want them to get in trouble. So Pony has a positive view of Cherry, and there's a couple lines you could take from 73. And Dallas, he's feeling negative. He didn't think she should show up there, and she rejected him, so he doesn't really like her in this scene. All right, 74. Johnny shook his head, but I said, Dad used to take us all hunting. I've been in the country before. How'd you know about the church? I got a cousin that lives around here somewheres. He tipped me off that it would make a tough hideout in case of something. Hey, Pony, I heard you were the best shot in the family. Yeah, I said. Derry always got the most ducks, him and Dad. Soda and I goofed around too much and scared most of the game away. I couldn't tell Dally that I hated to shoot things. He'd think I was soft. That's a good little moment for the reader, right? We know that Pony really isn't the most like violent character in the book, and he doesn't really fight, but him not wanting to hunt like his brothers, it definitely shows the softer side of his personality. He's a good kid. Okay. That was a good idea. I mean, cutting your hair and bleaching it. They printed your descriptions in the paper, but you sure wouldn't fit them now. Johnny had been quietly finishing his 5th barbecue sandwich, but now he announced, we're gonna turn ourselves in. It was Dally's turn to gag, and he swore a little. Then he turned to Johnny and he demanded, what? I said we're gonna go back and turn ourselves in, Johnny repeated in a quiet voice. I was surprised but not shocked. I'd thought about turning ourselves in lots of times, but apparently the whole idea was a jolt to Dallas. I got a good chance of being let off easy, Johnny said desperately. And I didn't know if it was Dally he was trying to convince her himself. I ain't got no record with the fuzz, and it was self-defense. Pony and Cherry can testify to that, and I don't aim to stay in that church all my life. That was quite a speech for Johnny. His big black eyes grew bigger than ever, and he thought of going to the police station. For Johnny had, His big black eyes grew bigger than ever at the thought of going to the police station, for Johnny had a deathly fear of cops, but he went on. We won't tell that you helped us, Dally, and we'll give you back the gun and what's left of the money, and say that we hitchhiked back, so you won't get in trouble, okay? Dally was chewing on the corner of his ID card, which gave his age as 21 so he could buy liquor. You sure you don't want to go back? Us greasers get it worse than... You sure you want to go back? Us greasers get it worse than anyone else. Johnny nodded. I'm sure. It ain't fair for Ponyboy to have to stay up in that church with Derry and Soda worrying. Ooh, this could be our evidence for number 2. I don't guess my parents were worried about me or anything. Okay, so question 2 is like asking what's motivating Johnny to make his decision. He wants to turn himself in, that's his decision. And a big motivation for that is that on 75, it's not fair for Ponyboy to stay in that church with his brothers worrying. Yes, you could also cite that he thinks he might not get in trouble because it was self-defense. You can cite that. But I think friendship is a bigger motivation for Johnny. Alright, are we almost... What page are we supposed to read to? I totally forgot. 2 more pages. Okay. The boys are worried, Dally said in a matter-of-fact voice. Two-Bit was going to Texas to hunt for you. My parents, Johnny repeated dodgily. Did they ask about me? No, snapped Dally. They didn't. Blasted Johnny, what do they matter? Shoot, my old man don't give a hang whether I'm in jail or dead or in a car wreck or drunk or in the gutter. They don't bother with me. Johnny didn't say anything, but he stared at the dashboard with such hurt bewilderment that I could have bawled. Dally cussed under his breath, and he nearly tore out the transmission of his T-Bird as we roared out of the Dairy Queen. I felt sorry for Dally. He meant what he said. He didn't care about his parents, but he and the rest of the gang knew that Johnny cared and he did everything he could to make it up to him. I don't know what it was about Johnny, maybe that lost puppy look and those big scared eyes were what made everyone his big brother. But they couldn't, no matter how hard they tried, take the place of his parents. I thought about it for a minute. Derry and Soda Pop were my brothers, and I loved both of them, even if Derry did scare me. But not even Soda could take Mom and Dad's place. And they were my real brothers, not just sort of adopted ones. No wonder Johnny was hurt because his parents didn't want him. Dally couldn't take it. Dally was of the breed that could take anything because he was hard and tough. And when he wasn't, he could turn hard and tough. Johnny was a good fighter and could play it cool. But he was sensitive, and that isn't a good way to be when you're a greaser. Blasted, Johnny, Dally growled as he flew along the red road. Why didn't you think of turning yourself in 5 days ago? It would have saved a lot of trouble. I was scared, Johnny said with conviction. I still am. He ran his finger down one of his short black sideburns. I guess we ruined our hair for nothing, Pony. I guess so. I was glad we were going back. I was sick of that church. I didn't care if I was bald. Dally was scowling, and from a long, painful experience, I knew better than to talk to him when his eyes were blazing like that. I'd likely as not get clobbered over the head. That had happened before, just as it had happened to all the gang, at one time or another. We rarely fought among ourselves. Derry was the unofficial leader, since he kept his head best. Soda and Steve had been best friends since grade school and never fought. And Two-Bit was just lazy to argue with anyone. Johnny kept his mouth shut, too. Too much to get into arguments, and nobody ever fought with Johnny. I kept my mouth shut, too. But Dally, he was a different matter. If something beefed. He didn't keep quiet about it. And if you rubbed him the wrong way, look out. Not even Derry wanted to tangle with him. He's dangerous. Johnny just sat there and stared at his feet. He hated for any one of us to be mad at him. He looked awfully sad. Dally glanced at him out of the corner of his eye. I looked out the window. Johnny, Dally said in a pleading high voice, using a tone that I'd never heard from him before. Johnny, I ain't mad at you. I just don't want you to get hurt. You don't know what a few months in jail can do to you. Ugh, blasted Johnny. He pushed his white blonde hair back out of his eyes. You get hardened in jail, and I don't want it to happen to you like it happened to me. I kept staring out the window, rapidly passing the scenery, but I felt my eyes getting round. Dally never talked like that. Dally didn't give a Yankee dime about anyone but himself, and he was cold and hard and mean. He never talked about his past or being in jail, and if he talked about it at all, it was to brag. I suddenly thought of Dally, in jail at the age of 10. Dally growing up in the streets. Would you rather have me living in hideouts the rest of my life, always on the run? Johnny asked seriously. If Dally had said yes, Johnny would have gone back to the church without hesitation. He figured Dally knew more than he did. Dally's word was law. But he never heard Dally's answer, for when we reached the top of the J Mountain, Dally slammed on the brakes and stared. Oh, glory, the church was on fire. Okay, I know I said 77, we'll stop right in the middle there. So again, number 1, you should have talked about Dally feeling annoyed that Cherry had shown up and rejected by her, and Pony feeling like she's trying to help them out and be sweet. Number 2, Johnny's making this decision to turn himself in because he doesn't want to put Ponyboy through this experience. I told you where to find evidence for both of those, so you should be good to go. Sorry I went 5 minutes over, probably because I was showing you my favorite recipe at the beginning of this video. And that's it. Tell me what you want to see in the next video. See you tomorrow.